about what is the general way of divide and conquer, its control abstraction, the recurrence equation for divide and conquer, right? And the way of solving any recurrence equation of divide and conquer using master theorem. I hope you have gone through the master theorem, okay? And the example of finding sum of numbers, right? The agenda of today's class, again, I just want you to continue with the example of finding sum of n numbers, which we could not complete in the previous class. Probably the algorithm for finding the maximum and minimum of n numbers. So we'll try to solve that. I think in the previous class we saw only finding maximum of n numbers. Now we'll find both maximum and minimum of n numbers, right? So to begin with, let me just tell you about how do we calculate the sum of n numbers present in an array. So I think you people know the various ways of finding sum of n numbers in the array, right? So you will iterate over the for loop, okay? So that's one way. That's one way. You may use a for loop or you may use a while loop, okay? And you will find the summation of n numbers which are present in the array. So definitely, when you do such methodology of finding sum of n numbers, what is the basic operation? As you all know, it is the addition. So you're performing adding, and obviously you, as you all know, I need to have how many additions in that case. If I'm summating n numbers, how many additions will I need? How many additions should I perform for finding sum of n numbers?
N additions.
N additions, as simple as it is. Okay. You need n addition. That means to say your complexity is linear order of growth. Okay. So my intention is to just to find that, but using divide and conquer. So I think now with the general plan, can anybody just tell me how will I find sum of n numbers in the array where array looks like this, right? A0 to an minus 1. Okay. How will you compute this sum by using divide and conquer? What approach will you follow? What approach will you follow by using divide and conquer? You will divide the problem into how many subproblems, students? Quickly.
Two subproblems, ma'am.
Problems. Okay. So each of size, as number of elements are n, each of size how what?
N by 2.
By 2, isn't it? So what I'll do is, provided, very important, right? Provided if number of elements n is greater than 1. So if number of elements is 1 in the array, I cannot divide it. That's not possible. I cannot divide the number, single number into half. That's not possible. If n is greater than 1, the number of elements is greater than 1, we will divide the problem into two instances of the same problem, isn't it? That is, two instances of the same problem means if you have an array, if I break the array, I get an array only. So if I have an apple, if I slice it, I get an apple. I will not get orange or mango there. No. Slicing will give me the same, isn't it? We can divide the problem into two instances of the same problem. First is to compute the sum of first n by 2 numbers, and next problem is to compute the sum of what? The remaining n by 2 numbers. So what I will do is I will divide my array into two halves, where the first problem is to compute the sum of first n by 2 numbers. The second problem is to compute the sum of the remaining n by 2 numbers. Okay. And then once I get the sum of these two numbers, so first problem is what? To compute the sum of first two numbers. Second one is to compute the sum of the remaining n by 2 numbers. So once I get the sum of the first subproblem, what will I do to get the sum of n numbers, students? What should I do after getting the sum of those two subproblems? What will I do?
Add them.
Add them. Very simple as it is. So once you find the result or the sum of the first half and the second half, I will just try to combine it by using one addition. So whatever sum I get here, I take these two and I perform one add operation. Yes, hope you are getting. So we can add these two values to get the sum in question. That's my problem, isn't it? So it is something like this. So I will do like this. A0 plus till a of n minus 1 is equal to sum of first n by 2 numbers plus sum of the next n by 2 numbers. Yes, hope you are getting this. Now, this divide and conquer, okay, basically the algorithms that we write will be suited for parallel computations. I hope in the beginning I would have told you parallel algorithms, wherein you have problems solved simultaneously by different processes, right? So what I can do is I can give this subproblem, right, to one processor. I can give this subproblem to another processor, wherein both will compute simultaneously and my time is reduced here. You can observe, right? If this take 2 minutes, parallelly this will also take 2 minutes. So what is the total time execution for me if I write a parallel algorithm for this? How many minutes I need totally again? It is just 2 minutes, not 4 minutes. Okay. So it is basically suited for parallel computation. That's what I mean to say, because the subproblems are dependent or independent of each other. Are they dependent or independent of each other? Subproblems. Students, try to answer my question. Are the subproblems dependent on each other or independent of each other?
Independent, ma'am.
They are independent. See, it's simple like this. You are finding sum of first half, in the next half, the next. So nowhere this is not dependent on this, right? You can say no. To compute this, I need not have to compute this, or neither to compute this, I need not have to compute this. Not required. The subproblems are dependent. They are not dependent on each other. They are just independent. Remember, subproblems are independent. They are solved independently on their own. Okay. Now let us write the algorithm for this sum of n numbers. Probably, okay. I have the name given as add, and I have an array A, low and high. Can anybody just guess why we are using this low and high here, students? What does this low and high indicate for me? What is this low and high? Initially, what does low and high contain?
Ma'am, low contains 0 and high contains n
Contains
minus.
that is always, because I'm recursively calling it. Remember, recursively. So I cannot give a digit or a number here. So I'm giving one variable. And you should remember, low always indicates the first index of the array and high indicates the last index of the array. Okay. Purpose is to find sum of elements in the array using divide and conquer. So my input is A, we're ranging from 0 to n minus 1. So I have 0 to n minus 1 here. You can just observe, where low is the index of the first element in the array, high is the index of the last element in the array. So remember, you should now decide what should be your low, what should be your high. Okay, for the final, for the initial call. So initial call, low will be 0 and high will be what? For the initial call. Low will be 0, high will be what, students?
N minus 5.
Okay. Output is now sum of the elements is written. Okay, fine. Let us start writing the algorithm. You know that as it is a recursive algorithm, there should be a base case. Okay. What is the base case for my this algorithm? What is the base case? When I cannot divide the problem again, further division is not possible when the array contains how many elements? How many elements the array will contain where I cannot
1.
one element? Okay. See, one element correct, but I don't have any size parameter here to check. I have only the indices. Now just tell me the relationship between low and high if there is only one element in the array.
Low and high are equal.
Yes, first element is only your first index. High also is the index of the last element is also your first element only. I mean, only one element. So low is equal to I. So I will put one base case here like this. If low is equal to high, what does it mean? There is only students. How many elements in the array?
One element in the array, ma'am.
Element. So when there is only one element in the array, I cannot further divide. Rather, I should compute the answer for that. So what is the answer that I compute if low is equal to high? What is the sum of the elements there? Return what?
The element itself, ma'am.
Itself. So either I can write return A of low or I can write return A of
High, ma'am.
high, anything. So A of low preferably. Okay. If the array contains only one element. Now, if low equals to I. If low is not equal to high, definitely there is the array size is more than one element. So what should I do? Else. Go for what? What should I do if the array contains more than one element, students? Else, what should I do? The control abstraction, what did we do? What did we do there?
Divide problem into
Two
small sequences.
sub-problems. And we know that the sub-problem here is only two sub-problems. Okay. So usually an array is given to you. How do you divide that problem into two sub-problems? What concept you will use? I think you people know that. Concept of binary search. How did you divide the problem into two sub-problems? Concept of what you used there? There are several ways, but one way you already know. What do you get? What do you calculate? For dividing the problem into two sub-problems. Binary search, yeah? What is that parameter? Students, I want the answer. How do you divide the problem into sub-problems?
Low 5 by 2, ma'am.
Yes. How do you divide the problem into two sub-problems? What is the concept, students? We use the concept of mid. Do you remember that? Mid.
Yes, ma'am.
Mid is equal to what? How do you calculate mid? Come on, yeah. Mid is equal to what is the formula? Give me the formula.
Plus high divided by 2.
By 2. Yes. So first I'll get the value of mid. See, there are several ways to divide the problem into sub-problems. And with the research, they have found that using the concept of mid, the results are good. So we are going for mid. Mid is equal to low plus high by 2. Now, quickly just tell me, if I use mid, what is my first sub-problem? The array A will be from what to what? The array A will be from what to what, students? It ranges from what to what? What should I write? It ranges from what to what, students?
0 to n by 2 minus 1, ma'am.
No. If I use the concept of mid and using the low, high and all, what is the first half of my array?
Ma'am, low to high by 2 minus 1.
No.
Low to
Using
mid,
mid.
ma'am.
Low to
minus 1.
mid. Okay. Depends. I have just chosen the first half is this. Low to mid. Okay. What is my second half?
Mid plus 1 to high.
Mid plus 1 to high. So my first half is low, low to mid, and my second half is from mid plus 1 to a high. Otherwise round, you can also write low, mid minus 1, mid to high. That's left to your decision. How do you take the ranges? But preferably we always use this way of taking the subparts, low to mid, mid plus 1 to high. So now what should I do? I should get the sum of my first part, first subproblem. Okay, so I should call the function, and you all know that recursively I get. So what should I now pass to the function add now? Add to solve the first subproblem.
A comma mid, A comma low comma mid.
Mid, yes. So I will now call the function recursively add a comma low comma mid. And you can see now when I call this function recursively here, this will find the sum of which half? Which half? Which half, students?
First half, ma'am.
Half, which is of the array ranging from low to mid. And how? Recursively. And say I store that in a variable called as sum1. Okay, my first half is solved. Now I should solve the second half. So how do I solve the second half? What should I write now?
Sum 2 is equal to add of 2 comma mid plus 1 comma high.
High. Sum 2 is equal to add of mid plus 1 comma high. Why? Because my second half starts from mid plus 1 and ends with high. Right? Mid plus 1 comma high. This will find the sum of the second half of the array mid plus 1 comma high. Recursively, very important. Once I get, now sum1 is the solution of first half, second one, sum 2 is the summation of my second half. How do I get my solution to the original problem? What should I now do? What should I now do?
Ma'am, add sum 1
Add.
and sum 2.
And so finally return sum 1 plus sum 2. Yes, sum 1 is the solution of my first half. Sum 2 is the solution of my second half. I'll just combine them with one single addition. Are you all getting? Right? This is how your recursive algorithm works. Now the next question comes, ma'am, how is this working? How do you get the sum? And here you might ask me again, how did this get the sum? Or that since it is recursive, the task is easily handled by the compiler. But when you try to trace it out, you may not be very comfortable to do. But anyways, further examples, you will have to trace it out. So at this point of time, I am not going for the tracing. I am just telling you it will find the sum of the solution of the first half and the second half. Whatever is the solution, it will give me. Okay. Now, what is the basic operation for doing all these things in this algorithm? What is our basic operation, students? What is our basic operation in this algorithm? What is our basic operation? What forms our basic operation?
Addition, ma'am.
Addition. So the recurrence for number of additions being made, okay, I'll have to just now set up, okay, provided, as I told you, I am working on the algorithm whose inputs are of size n, which is equal to 2 power k. What is that? The size is always a multiple of 2. The size is a even. Okay. Can anybody tell me now, what is the equation for a of n? If I have to go back to my algorithm, what is the to compute a of n? So first I should compute what, ma? What is a of n? Number of additions made to compute sum of n numbers, isn't it? So to compute the sum of n numbers, first I should compute what, students? First I should compute what? Addition of, what is a of n? Anybody, any guesses? What should I compute? What did I do first here? Sum of
First half.
first half. Next I should compute sum of
Second
second.
half.
After that I should add them, isn't it? So now tell me, what is the recurrence relation? A of n is equal to
A of n by 2 plus A of n
by 2. That's all.
plus 1.
Plus 1. So I can now come to a conclusion that A of n is equal to A of n by 2 plus A of n by 2 plus 1. If I want to elaborate it, can anybody tell me what is this first A of n by 2? Number of additions made to compute or to solve what problem?
First sub problem, ma'am.
The number of additions made to compute first subproblem plus what is next, n by 2? A of n by 2, number of additions made to compute
Second sub problem, ma'am.
problem. And you might question me, ma'am, it may not be exactly n by 2. That's okay. Slight variation will be there, not a problem. So, but it is half. We are dividing into two equal halves. That's our convention. So, n by 2, n by 2. And next, what is this plus 1? Plus 1 is nothing but what? The one addition that I need to add the result of sum of first half with the result of sum of second half. Isn't it so? Now, I can write this as A of n is equal to 2 times of A n by 2. Now 2 times of A n by 2, if I give this recurrence relation, you will have to solve it. Yes, okay. So you will have to solve and you will get some answer. That's some answer which is what? What is the answer will you get? Any idea? 2A n by 2 plus 1. Have we solved that? I think no. Okay. Anyways, I want you people to solve this using backward substitution method. Okay. Keep track of this. You have one more problem. So you, along with this, you can solve also this using backward substitution method. Okay. Now, since this is the general recurrence relation that is similar to our master theorem. So what master theorem told, if you have any equation which is similar to this, A T n by B, isn't it? Plus f of n. If you have a recurrence relation which looks like this, I can easily find its order of growth. And you all know that the order of growth of this algorithm is linear because we do n additions, not more than that. It cannot take more than n additions. Okay. So now just tell me, comparing this equation with this, what is the value of A? What is the value of A? What is the value of A?
2, ma'am.
2. What is the value of B?
2.
2. What is f of n? What is f of n?
1, ma'am.
1. Okay. So we will now take for this example A equals to 2, B is equal to 2 and f of n equals to 1. 1 I can write in terms of n as what? In terms of n, how can I write 1? 1 can be written in terms of n how?
n to the power of 0.
As 0. So we have f of n equals to 1, which is nothing but n to the power of 0. And you all know that our master theorem needs one more term. What is the term? D. And you all, what is the D? D is nothing but f of n belonging to theta of some n power d. So it should be belonging to some order of growth of n to the power d, not to some other order of growth, n to the power d. So if you can see f of n now belongs to n to the power 0 order of growth. So what is d for me? D is equal to 0. You get d equals to 0 here. Yes. Now you have to compare the relation between a, b power d. So what is the relationship between a and b power d? Students, what is a for me? 2. Yes, a is 2 and b is what ma? 2, d is 0. So what is the relationship between a and b power d? It is greater, lesser or equal. What is the relationship between a and b power d here? What is it? Students, what is the relationship between a and b power? It is greater. And as you all know, if a is greater to b power d, what can I tell? What is its order of growth? T of n belongs to theta of any idea? The order of growth? Yes, you remember this. A of n. So there it is t, but here for us it is a of n. A of n belongs to theta of n to the power log a to base a. You have to remember this formula, which is nothing but theta of n to the power log a. A is 2, b is also 2, and this is nothing but log 2 to base 2 is 1, as you all know. Theta of n means to say that number of additions made now belongs to which order of growth? Which order of growth, students?
Linear.
Remember, students, master theorem will just give you the order of growth, but how many additions is made, it did not tell you. Did it tell in how many additions it made? No, it could be n, it could be n minus 1, n minus 2, whatever it is. It did not give me the number of additions made, but order of growth. It showed me that the order of growth is linear. Are you understanding? Okay. So you can take this equation and try to find out how many additions are made. Okay. Fine. That's about the number of additions made. Number of additions made to compute sum of n numbers. Now next, the problem here is to find the maximum and minimum. Okay. In a given list of n elements. Okay. Any idea how do you find maximum and minimum? The maximum element we found, right? Small changes we can do there. What code can be added? The same algorithm which we took for finding maximum, some code to be added even for finding minimum inside that only. Can anybody guess? Simple straightforward algorithm. Is this okay? Students? Simple algorithm which we have taken. What we did is we just pass the array, the size of the array, that is number of elements, max and min. What is max and min? Max and min is equal to a of I, assuming that the array index starts with 1 and ends with n. Max equals to min equals to a of 1. And I will compare this with the rest of the elements where I ranges from 2 to n. Are you getting? Right? So if E of I is greater than max, I'll just compare. Then I update max. If E of I is less than min, then I'll compare. Sorry, update min is equal to E of I. Okay, will this give me the max and min in the array, students? Will it give me? No issues? No issues? Yes or no? Looking at the algorithm, will it give me max and min in the array? Students, I want the answer. Are you all there? I have to check. Will that give me the max and min in the array?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now just tell me which are the basic operations in this algorithm. Since I'm finding max and min, which are the basic operations? Okay. In max, when you found maximum in the array, which was the basic operation?
Comparison, ma'am.
Comparison. This was the basic operation. And you also remember how many times this comparison worked? How many times? How many times this comparison was made? I ranging from 2 to n means how many times? How many times this comparison was done, students? In the previous example, what we saw?
N minus 1 times.
N minus 1 comparisons was there. You can observe that though whatever is your input type, this comparison will be done till I reaches n, the last index. Since we are finding both max and min here, this is also your another basic operation, right? There are two basic operations now. This is the first one, this is the second one. And you can also observe that this will execute how many times again? Both
N minus
n minus 1 times. Now, what is the time complexity of this algorithm, students? What is the time complexity? What is the time complexity? This is n minus 1 times. This is also n minus. Both I am doing it simultaneously, one after the other. So what is the time complexity of this algorithm? 2 times
2 times of n minus 1.
n minus 1. Right? So 2 times of n minus 1 comparisons I'll have to do. That's there. With respective of whatever is the case. That is in all the cases, I need 2 into n minus 1 comparisons. Okay. Just going back to this, can I do some improvement here? Can I do some improvement? Can you just tell me, can a element be both max or min, or it can be only max or min? When I compare A of I with max or A of I with min, can it be both max and min or only one? A of I can be either maximum one or it can be either minimum one. Okay, so what I will do is I'll just make some slight changes. That is, the comparison A of I less than min, whatever I wrote, will be done or will be necessary only when A of I greater than max is what, students? False. When A of I is greater than max, that is A of I is not the maximum means, then it can be a minimum. Isn't it so? Why do you want to check the conditions? Both, not required. Isn't it? So, if at all A of I is greater than max, okay, no problem. But if A of I is not greater than max, it is false, I will go for the comparison of A of I less than min. So, slight improvement I will do in the for loop. Just see the for loop what I did. If A of I is greater than max, then update max. No problem. If A of I is not greater than max, that is, this condition is false, then only I will compare A of I is less than min. That is, I'll add one else if statement here. Else if, that is, if this is false, only then I compare. Otherwise, I don't compare. Not required. Why should I compare? Because A of I can neither be max and min. It cannot be both max and min. It can be either max or min. Okay. So I will make this changes. By making these changes, your number of comparisons will be reduced when I give a best case, worst case. Say for example, my best case input is ascending order. My best case input is ascending order. Tell me how many comparisons my algorithm will take in such case. Suppose say I have an input like this, 12, 13, 14, 15. Tell me how many times this condition will be executed if this is the case. If it is an ascending order, how many times this condition will be executed? Students, observe and just tell me, first of all, max will be 12. Then I will compare with 13, 14, 15. How many times this will be executed? Students, can you get the point? How many times this condition will be executed if my array is in ascending order? This condition, A of I greater to max.
N minus 1 times max.
Times. Why? Because your maximum element is at which position? Is at the last position. So this will be executed n minus 1 times. How about, since this will be always true, isn't it? Always true. So never you get an opportunity to execute this. This will not at all be executed. Isn't it so? Else, this else is there here. So else if only if this condition is false, it will go here. This will never be false. So in the best case where the condition we give here is the array is in the sorted fashion. Min is anyways 12. So why should I check this? Not required. So I have added a else here. What is the worst case? Any idea? What is the worst case? What is the worst case, students? Worst case is when the array is given in the descending order. So you can observe when I give in the descending order, what happens to this condition, students? This will be always be evaluated as true or false. Give it in the ascending order. Sorry, descending. This will be evaluated as what, students? Always. Max is 15. 15 is compared with 14, then 13, then 12. What will be the status of this condition? Always. It is
False, ma'am.
always false. So this, since this is false, it will execute this else if block, isn't it so? You can observe that in the descending order, the first condition is also executed how many times? N minus 1 times. Similarly, the second one is also executed how many times? N minus 1 time, right? So the best case occurs when the elements are in the increasing order, that's the descending order. So when we have it in the increasing order, we can observe that the first if condition is always true, wherein it gets an opportunity to execute the second condition, else if condition. Number of comparisons will be n minus 1 for sure. But when you go for the worst case condition, you can observe that since the array is in the decreasing order, that is in the descending order, the first condition is always evaluated as false and the second is also evaluated to true. Therefore, I need how many comparisons? N minus 1, N minus 1. That is again equal to 2n minus 1. So my target is to have a time complexity less than this for any case, best, worst, or average. That is my target, right? I want to have less than this. I want to have comparisons less than 2 into n minus 1. So to have that flexibility, we design an algorithm based on divide and conquer strategy. Okay, can just anybody figure it out? How do you find using divide and conquer? Maximum and min. Okay, at least maximum. How to find maximum in an array using divide and conquer? First, what should you do, ma? What should you do? Divide the problem into how many sub-problems? Students, quickly. Divide the problem into how many sub-problems? Students, how many sub-problems? Divide the problem into how many sub-problems, yeah?
2, ma'am.
Two sub-problems. Okay. After dividing the two sub-problems, what is the solution of the first sub-problem for me? Since I'm finding, what should I find? What is the solution? Solution is what, ma? I think you can know. What is the solution of the first sub-problem? I should find what? Maximum in the
First half.
half. Next, going to the second half. What will I find there?
Maximum in the second half.
Second half. Okay, very good. After you find maximum in the first half, I name it as max 1. Maximum in the second half, I name it as max 2. How do I get the maximum of my original problem?
Compare max 1 and max.
And max 2. Very simple as it is, isn't it? So my task is, I gave you only maximum. You have to find both max and min. Right. Right. So before we go for division, let me find out the what is the smaller input. So you can now observe, when the array is having only one element, what happens? There's only one element. What is your max and min? What is your max and min? There is only one element. Students, max and min is what if there is only one element? Quickly.
Or the same element which is present, ma'am.
There. The only element is your max and min. If there are two elements in the array, what will you do? There are two elements. One comparison. Because I need not have to divide and sit. Two elements are there. I'll do one comparison. Okay, which is min, which is max. Directly I'll get to know. So now the smaller input for me here is when n is less than or equal to 2. That is, when n equals to 1, I will find that same element is my max and min. When n equals to 2, right, I need one comparison between the first and the second. Okay. Next is, if you have more than two elements, then you will have to divide into smaller instance. As I said, we have two instances, and you all know how do we divide the array into two instances? By using the concept of mid. So your problem P1 will be from 1/2 low to mid. The other one will be from mid plus 1 to high. That is, I have taken like this, a of 1 to a of n by 2 and a of n by 2 plus 1 to a of n. The array size is n by 2 here. The other problem array size is n minus n by 2. That is again n by 2 only. Nothing much difference there. Okay. Now, as I said, so recursively solve the same. Once you get the maximum and minimum of those sub problems, right? So you should compare. So when I had maximum, you said one comparison is required. But since I'm having maximum and minimum, so I need how many comparisons, students? Once the two sub problems are solved, how many comparisons do I need?
One more.
One more. So what my intention is, first sub problem will give me max 1, min 1. Second sub problem will give me max 2 and what? Min 2. So what should I do now? I should compare max 1 and max 2. Similarly, I should compare min 1 with min 2. So I need two comparisons, right? The two maxima are compared and the two minima are compared to achieve the solution for the entire problem, right? So we have the algorithm here. Okay, see, instead of low and high, this is the standard algorithm as per your textbook. That's why I have followed this only. I and J instead of low and high. You can use low and high, no problem. There's no issues there. Okay. I and J, as I said, they are low and high, which ranges from 1 to n. You can observe here, right? Look at this. I'll first go for splitting when the number of elements are greater than 2. Okay. See, what did we do here? What is the statement doing for me? What is the statement doing for me, students? What is the statement doing for me? It is finding what value?
Mid value, ma'am.
Value. Mid is equal to I plus j. Instead of low and high, they have used I comma j. Yeah, nothing great there. You can all, if you want, you can use low plus high only, no problem. Low plus high by 2. And we have taken the ceiling value, sorry, floor value. Okay, so that you can keep or you can omit, not a problem. Then solve the sub problems. My algorithm name is maxmin. So I will call maxmin, in brackets, you can see I comma j. So what is the size of my first sub problem? The indices is now what? I comma mid. Okay. And you can just observe here, this is another parameters, two parameter, max and min. What is this max and min contains? It will contain the maximum and the minimum values present in A of I comma j. So I have used one variable here, that is max and min. So what is this max containing? Max contains the maximum value in the first half. Min will contain the minimum value in the first half. What is your first half? It is from I to mid, right? Next, again, solve the next sub problem ranging from mid plus 1 to j. Max 1, min 1. You could have used here max 1, min 1, max 2, min 2, no harm. There's nothing harm there. So max 1, min 1. What does max 1 contain? Once the problem is solved, what does max 1 contain, students? What does it contain? What does it contain? Max 1 contains what here? What does it contain, students? Max 1 and min 1. What does it contain? Students, in this respective call, what does max 1 and min 1 contain? Finally,
Maximum and minimum of second
second
subproblem.
sub problem. Yes. After you find these two, right? So already it is available for me, right? And your final max should be in the variable max and min, remember, right? So I have to now just compare this to combine the solutions. If max is less than max 1, so I am just comparing. Is max less than max 1? Then update max as max 1. Understanding? So max, is it less than this? Okay. So whichever is greater, that becomes your max value there. Again, similarly, if min is greater than min 1, then min becomes min 1. So this variable, whatever you write towards your LHS, should be same as what you have given in the algorithm, main algorithm. Okay. So remember that. So otherwise also you can write like this. If you have given the variable, this says max 1, max 2. Is max 1 less than max 2? Then max equals to what? That you can do. That also you can do. Okay. No problem. So this is how it will just work on. Coming to the base cases, if I equals to j, what does it mean? How many elements are there in the array? If I equals to j.
One element.
Element. So you will initialize max and min as e of I, or you can write max and min as e of
J.
okay. Else if, so I have an else if condition because I have two base cases. If the array is having two elements, so how do I get to know array is having two elements? When array has two elements, where will be I pointing to? That is low. Low will be pointing to the first one and j will be pointing to the second element, isn't it? So what is the condition that I can give? How do I check there are two elements in the array? The condition is if I is equal to j minus 1. First element, second element, isn't it? Or you can write even the other way around. If j is equal to I plus 1, that also you can write. So I equals to j minus 1. There are only two elements in this case. Then e of I, you just compare. E of I is less than e of j. If e of I is less than e of j, max will be e of j, min will be e of I. Else, max will be e of I, min will be e of j. This is your way of solving when there are only two elements. I hope you are getting. Yes or no? There are only two elements. Say for example, this is 0, this is 1. So I will be equal to j minus 1. I is 0, j minus 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Right? I equals to j minus 1. Okay. Coming on to the recurrence relation. Can anybody guess what is the basic operation here? To solve all these things, what is our basic operation? What forms the basic operation to find maximum and minimum in the array? Students. What forms the basic operation? Then we can wind up if you can tell me that. What forms the basic operation? To do all these things, what is your basic operation? Students. What is your basic operation to do all these things?
Comparison.
Comparison. Okay. Now, what is the total number of comparisons if I take it as T of n? How will you set the recurrence relation? T of n equals to number of comparisons made to find maximum and minimum in n numbers is equal to two subproblems are there, isn't it? What should you write?
Two times of T of n minus 1.
N minus 1. T of n minus, your problem is reduced by 1, n minus 1, or it is reduced by half.
Half, ma'am. N by 2, ma'am.
Yes, 2 times of Tn by 2. For combining, how many comparisons you are taking?
2, ma'am.
2. So, my recurrence relation will be like this. What is the number of comparisons needed? If T of n is that number, then T of n is equal to Tn by 2. That is to find maximum and minimum in the first half plus Tn by 2 to find maximum and minimum in the which half? Which half is this? Students. This is first half. Number of comparisons made in the first half plus number of comparisons made in the second half. Then once you get the maximum and minimum in the first and the second, I need how many comparisons? Students.
2, ma'am.
2 comparisons. For what case? Where n is greater than 2. Right? When n is equal to 1, That is only one element. Am I doing any comparisons?
No, ma'am.
No, 0. When n equals to 2, am I doing any comparison?
One comparison.
One comparison. This is your recurrence relation. So I can write this recurrence relation as 2 times of t n by 2 plus how much? Plus 2. Okay. So the job for you to do is, what is t of n? I don't want order of growth. Order of growth, I can easily get it from my master theorem. Can anybody guess what is the order of growth from master theorem? What is A? A is what here? Students, quickly.
2, ma'am.
A is 2. B is what? What is B?
2, ma'am.
So 2. What is D?
1, ma'am.
1. Yes. 2 is there. 2 means I should express 2 in terms of n. So 2 into n to the power 0. That D is D is 1. 2. 2 or 0? 1 or 0? 2, 2. It is a constant. If you have to represent constant in terms of n means 2 into n power 0 I can write. That's all, right? Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. 0, ma'am.
Yeah, D is 0. Okay. What is it? D is 0 means? I think the same thing I get. Which order of growth?
Ma'am will get A is equal to B to the power of D. 2 is equal to 2 will get, ma'am.
D is 0, no.
That's what, ma'am.
D is 0. A is 2. B to the power D. 2 power 0 is 1, no.
A greater than B, ma'am.
So it is linear, right? It belongs to the order of growth linear.
Ma'am, I didn't get it, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, f of n is equal to 2, right?
Pardon me?
F of n is 2 over here, right?
D is 2.
D is 1, ma'am.
How it is 1? Tell me, how is it 1?
F of n is 2.
Yes, f of n is 2. Yes, I agree. F of n is 2. Okay. Express f of n in terms of n
Ma'am,
now.
f of n,
N
yeah,
equals
so 2 is 2, right, ma'am?
2 power?
1 is 2 in terms of n.
Okay. How do you write 2 in terms of n? How do you
2
write
power
2?
1 equal to 2, ma'am.
2 power 1. Oh, where n is here? Students.
Ma'am, if you are expressing it in terms of n,
N.
then as you told, it should be 2 into n to the power of 0. Then it
0.
should be D will be 0, ma'am.
Yes. You should express this in terms of n, not in terms of 2 power. Okay. It should be in terms of n. 2 into n to the power 0. That's the only option. I cannot write anything apart. I cannot write here 1. If I write here 1, I will get 2n. My f of n is not 2n. It is just 2. I should express this f of n in terms of n. Okay, n to the power 0. So what is the power of n here?
D is 0, ma'am.
0. Okay. For example, if this was 2n, then how do you write? 2 into n to the power? If this was
1.
2,
1, ma'am.
then d becomes 1. In that case, this will work. But we have only 2 here. I want 2 to be expressed in power of n. Right? In terms of n, I want. In terms of n, I want 2 means the only option I can do is multiply that constant with n to the power 0. Because n to the power 0 is 1. That will not change my function value there. Isn't it? 2 into n to the power 0. So what is the value of d now? In this case, d equals 0. Yes, do you all agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So d is equal to 0. What is the value corresponding to this relation? A is to
A is greater than B to the power D.
b to power d, and I think t of
But
n
linear only.
linear only. Okay. So linear. So no problem. It is now belonging to linear. Okay. Now the question comes as, ma'am, earlier also straightforward method also 2 power n minus 1 is linear. Even this is linear, not much difference is there. But then I want this final value what you get after solving this using your substitution method. If you solve this using substitution method, then you must get an answer called as 3 n by 2 minus 2. Getting this is the number of comparisons made for given value of n. Now tell me which is better. Take an example of n equals to 6. Earlier, how many comparisons will you make when n equals to 6? With this case, how many comparisons will you make when n equals to 6? How many
10,
comparisons?
ma'am. 10.
10.
10.
Okay. In this case, when n equals to 6, how many comparisons? In
7.
7. 3 into 6 is 18. 18 by 3 into 6 is 18. 18 by 2 is 9. 9 minus 2 is how many comparisons? 7 comparisons. Which is better? Divide and conquer or the straight away approach of solving the problem?
Divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer. But um, I have given this answer, but you have to solve this and give me the answer. Okay, the next class, try solve. I will share this slide with respect to your recurrence relation. Try to get this answer. Let's see. Okay, I hope with this we will conclude our class. Thank you. Any doubts? You can just ask me. Any doubts, students? Ask me if you have any doubts. No doubts? Okay. You have any doubts, students?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. Okay. Can you just generalize me how maximum and minimum is found in an array using divide and conquer? Generalize in 1 or 2 sentences. Can you state? First, what should you do? Can you just state me? Is that possible? No one? All are leaving the meeting. You do whatever you want. Okay. Rakshita, can you just tell me in brief? What do you find?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, first we have to divide the array into 2 parts,
Mm.
and then with n by 2 elements in each.
Yes.
And then if and the base condition would be if there's only one element, there's no comparison. And if there are 2 elements, there will be one comparison, ma'am.
Okay.
And after that, like the division thing. Then we have to find the maximum and minimum in each half, ma'am. Like in first half, we
Okay.
have to find the maximum element and minimum element.
Yes.
And then we have to find the maximum and minimum element in the next half. And then
Yes.
we got to combine those two, compare the max and max element of both the cases
Yes.
and minimum elements of both the cases, and then finally we'll get the maximum and minimum value of the whole.
Problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in the straightforward approach, how many comparisons we are making? The worst case with all improvements, whatever I do. At the worst case, how many comparisons will I do in the straightforward approach?
2 into n minus 1.
This one. Okay. Both the conditions with the improvement that IB made, both the conditions during the worst case when the elements are in the descending order, we will do 2 into n minus 1 comparisons. How about divide and conquer? How about divide and conquer? How many comparisons? Trupti?
2t, twice of t n by 2, ma'am.
Uh-huh. How many comparisons are made? Final comparison.
Final comparisons are twice of n by 2 plus 2.
Minus 2.
Ma'am, 2 comparisons for the combined part, right?
Uh-huh. Final value, total number of
3n by 2 minus 2.
8 by 2 minus 2.
and okay. That is, you are telling recurrent solution. I agree. Recurrent solution is correct. The final number of comparisons being made, the value, the number of comparisons being made will be 3n by 2 minus, and you will get that once you solve your recurrence relation. So you try solving it. Okay. So you have to get that value. I have given you the question and the answer. You have to arrive at that particular answer. That is your job. Okay. Fine. I think the next class we will see drawing a recurrence tree. That's still more complicated. Hope you have you have got something. So I think this you have to slightly go through this algorithm. Slight modifications, what you want, you can do. Instead of I and J, you can write low and high. If you feel that it is comfortable, ma'am, that is comfortable, we will write. No problem, you can do it, right? Here also max and max 1, ma'am, I will write max 1 and max 2, no problem. That also you can write. And provided you give whatever is the parameter here, that should hold your answer. That you should take care. Max and min should be updated with the value, whatever it is. Okay. So slight modifications you want, you can do it here, or the same you can retain. Not a problem. I think the rest all is fine. I want you all to solve this and give me the answer. I'll share this to you all. I want you to solve, and someone has to present it to me in the next class, Monday's class. Be ready. Whomever I call, they should be ready to present the solution to the same. If you have any queries, you can ping me up and ask. Thank you, students. Any doubts, you can ask, otherwise you can leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.